our Honorable Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman presented the Budget 2023, the last full budget before the 2024 elections. With India poised to grow at 7%, the Finance Minister has identified 7 key areas of priority, including investment in infrastructure, green growth, and a robust financial sector. Today, myself, Megha Dhanuka, Senior Consulting Editor with Tax Sutra, in conversation with Mr. Jiger Saiya of MSKA Associates. He is a partner and tax leader with their tax and regulatory services. He has over 20 years of experience in corporate tax, international tax, and tax technology transformations. Hello Jigar, good to be speaking with you.
Hi Megha. Thank you for having me over.
I'm sure you had a busy day yesterday with over 120 direct tax amendments in the finance bill.
Yes, indeed a busy day. I think 120 amendments in direct taxes is more than they have had this government has had in all their budgets announced thus far. But I would say this budget was more like no thrills, no chills budget.
Okay, and what's your take on the overall approach towards direct taxes?
While if I may speak of the overall approach to the budget, I think it's more continuing the reform agenda of the government. On the expenditure side, clearly the focus is on capex and making long-term investments. So if we talk of investment in infra or on green growth, all is reformist and continuing all the various schemes that the government has rolled out. If we speak of direct taxes, I think the amendments proposed are not largely reformist, but they are more about making tweaks, making adjustments, more like they are in terms of rationalization of some provisions, plugging the anti-avoidance loopholes. It's about some administrative facilitation. But yes, there are some provisions which indeed help the taxpayer in overall ease of doing business.
Yeah, true, very true. With so many changes, what do you think are the key sectors which get impacted by this budget?
If we talk of sectors, there are no specific targeted sector, and on the expenditure side, of course, there has been a large push on green growth around infra, around certain aspects of digital push. But if we talk of the tax budget, no particular sectors have been targeted to focus. But yes, if we look at the sectors which are having positive impact, I would say startup announcements are positive. IFSC announcements are certainly there, which are specific to the sector. But overall, the budget has tried to balance it out and more iron out the differences that were there.
Okay, good to have your view on that. What would you qualify as top 3 positive announcements for this budget?
If we speak of positive announcements, I think we all probably heard it out and cheered. The entire I would say the Parliament also cheered when the Finance Minister announced the changes to the personal tax regime, where the new tax regime was made more attractive. I think in past it was never becoming a choice due to and it made a difference to a very limited set of audience. But now to a larger piece, so maybe that is one I would say positive announcement. Another one probably is about extension of tax holiday in case of startups. Extended 1 year, and where eligible startups would now be eligible to claim the tax holiday if they are set up before end of March 24. So that's another one, and I would say the third positive one is around IFSC, where if offshore funds are relocating to IFSC on or before March 25, they would be eligible for the tax neutral treatment. So I think those, I would say, if you call them 3, I'm not sure if these are really great benefits, but definitely 3 positives out of the budget.
Something to look for and something that made people happy.
Absolutely.
On the same breath, what would be the 3 unpleasant changes that you would like to highlight to our audience?
Unpleasant, I'm not sure if there were really anything which was unpleasant, but some of them which came as a real surprise unexpected, I may say. One was around the TDS on online gaming. Why I think this was anticipated in some form, but is the industry really prepared for this TDS? Because the way the provisions have been worded, the administration of this TDS is really going to get challenging. How are the gaming companies going to monitor and collect taxes on this? So that is one way where probably more time would need to be given to the online gaming industry to have enough infra to track this. Another surprise amendment I would say is around increased TDS on LRS. So I think the objective with which this TDS was brought about was to track these transactions and not really collect taxes out of them. But while there was 0.5% and to a certain extent even 5% was on the higher side, but bringing it up to 20% and also removing a threshold, I'm worried that even genuine transactions may suffer taxes, and then the taxpayer has to actually claim it in form of a refund. That's an additional burden, according to me, to the taxpayer.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the industry kind of agrees with it. A lot of people have given us that feedback on it.
Yeah, I think this probably could have been more targeted, more focused on certain value transactions beyond a certain value, or maybe even to a limited type of transaction. Kind of levying TDS of 20% on the entire transaction. That means you're hoping that this entire money is in form of income.
Exactly. And I think what is surprising is, isn't LRS already made out of income which has been taxed in India?
Absolutely. So, remittance out of an income which has already been taxed and collecting, tax on that doesn't seem to be one of the best ideas to do it. With the stated objective of primarily it was only to track the overseas movement of funds. So, I agree with you.
True. Would you want to touch upon any of the procedural aspects by the budget? Is there anything significant or nothing too critical to talk about?
I think overall procedural aspects are more, ironing out some of the concerns that were raised both by the taxpayer and as well as concerns felt by the revenue. One of the key aspects is around, bringing in the joint commissioner appeals. Because I think most of the taxpayers are concerned about the pendency at the commissioner appeal level, and it is great to see that the pendency at ITAT has significantly gone down. But is that because there is a block of cases at the commissioner appeal level and that pendency has increased? So maybe with the help of 100 joint commissioner appeal, probably we will see some respite coming on there. Other than that, I think most of the administrative amendments are more in order, I would say.
Yeah, to clarify things like timelines and mismatches of TDS credit or things like that, maybe it will ease a little bit of assessing grievance, but this is the key one.
True.
Hope to have some busy days for tax teams with the CIT appeals now.
I'm sure this would help. One aspect of this is now the taxpayer would need to actually assess who do I need to file appeal before, whether this would go to the commissioner appeal or joint commissioner appeal. So that is something which will also
Sure.
take some time for taxpayers to adjust.
Sure, that would be an interesting thing to watch out for. Any closing comments, Jiger, on the overall budget? Something that you think were missed out, which you were expecting in the budget?
So I think actually there were a lot of expectations from this budget. This budget being the last full budget before the general election. It was expected to be populist, but I think it's a fantastic budget in terms of how government has balanced it out. A few misses, I would say. One, there was an anticipation around the capital gain, simplification of the capital gain tax regime. I think there are multiple capital gain tax rates, multiple holding periods. I think that was not simplified. In fact, now in terms of the market-linked debentures, a new category which seems to have been added where any period of holding, it still qualifies as a short-term capital gain. So yes, capital gains was a miss. Another one is some announcements around the implementation of Pillar 2, which I think probably we were not ready for. Most of the countries have released consultation paper and we have not yet released. If you see, in fact, South Korea has already gone ahead and implemented the globe rules, which this budget was a chance, but I think nevertheless, these I think globally are seeming to be deferred by a year. So nothing really seems to have been missed there. But yes, I think overall the budget touched upon the right things, I believe.
Okay. Before we let you go for your busy day, would you like to share some insight on the Gift City Amendment?
I think yes, Gift City amendments were encouraging, and I think this is more about the resolve of the government to make the Gift City successful. Two key amendments, I would say, and apart from that, several policy announcements around the Gift City. But two key tax amendments were around, in the Gift City when offshore funds were setting up. The tax holiday, or not tax holiday, but the transitionary provisions had a sunset on 31st March 2023. So I think extending it to 25, probably attracting more offshore funds to set their base in the Gift City is definitely positive. And another one is clarifying on the tax exemption to the ultimate investor in the fund. I think this was being misread by the revenue. So thankfully a clarification which will also help investor confidence in the Gift City. So hoping to see more action in that part as well.
Great. I think they should bring about the expected incentivization of the Gift City and boost the business there.
So apart from Gift City, also if you look at the overall budget, I think there has been a very good balance. A few questions always came to me is that while sectoral push around green growth, around infra has been there on the expenditure side, I think they continue to have a focus on simplifying the tax regime instead of giving incentives to this sector and making this difference. So I think that is also one part where I would really commend the FM.
True. So thank you, Jiger, for your time and insights. We at TaxSutra are truly appreciative, and I'm sure our audience will enjoy your insights. Thank you.
Thank you, Megha.